Justin Baldoni reveals explicit notes allegedly from an intimacy coordinator meeting he claims Blake Lively skipped. Lawsuit. Justin Baldoni disclosed handwritten notes about It Ends With Us sex scenes that he alleges spiraled into the basis for some of Blake Lively's sexual harassment complaint. As part of an exhibit accompanying Baldoni's amended complaint filed January 31st, a photo of 2 pages of the director's notes allegedly from a meeting with an intimacy coordinator are included. According to his amended complaint, Baldoni met with the intimacy coordinator in April 2023 to discuss how to shoot the sex scenes. In alleged text messages from earlier that month, exhibited in Baldoni's complaint, Baldoni claims he told Lively he could arrange a time for her to meet with the intimacy coordinator before filming, but she replied, "I feel good. I can meet her when we start, smiley face, thank you though." Baldoni, 41, was then in the less than ideal position of having to relay these notes to Lively in her penthouse, since she declined the meeting, per his complaint. The notes featured a frank discussion of ideas for the sex scenes, with explicit lines like, "goes down on her," and terms like orgasm and foreplay. Baldoni's team writes in the filing. These notes would later become the basis for Lively's complaint, in which she states that Baldoni would talk about his own sex life and insert gratuitous scenes with Lively's character orgasming. Per Baldoni's complaint, he had discussed Lively's comfort level with her by early May 2023. Later that month they filmed the engagement scene that required a scripted kiss, with no intimacy coordinator present on set since there was no nudity or simulated sex, and only kissing. Per his filing. Baldoni's legal team previously leaked a 10-minute video from the film's set taken for a different scene, showing Lively and Baldoni, in and out of character, slow dancing closely as Baldoni suggested adding kisses, while Lively said the characters should only talk for the sequence. Though Baldoni's team felt the video supported their case, Lively's lawyer, while condemning the publicizing of the footage, called it damning. They alleged in a statement, "Every moment of this was improvised by Mr. Baldoni with no discussion or consent in advance and no intimacy coordinator present." Her attorneys further stated that Baldoni was not only Ms. Lively's co-star, but the director, the head of studio, and Ms. Lively's boss. The video shows Ms. Lively leaning away and repeatedly asking for the characters to just talk. Any woman who has been inappropriately touched in the workplace will recognize Ms. Lively's discomfort. They will recognize her attempts at levity to try to deflect the unwanted touching. No woman should have to take defensive measures to avoid being touched by their employer without their consent. Aside from improvised kisses, Lively's complaint alleged that her character's birth scene was filmed while the set was chaotic, crowded, and utterly lacking in standard industry protections for filming nude scenes. Baldoni's amended complaint contended that Lively was covered up for that scene and this was not in any way a nude or partially nude scene. Before It Ends With Us resumed filming after the Hollywood industry actors and writers' strikes ended, there was a meeting to go over on-set protocols. One of Lively's conditions upon returning was that an intimacy coordinator must be present at all times when Lively is on set. Lively is suing Baldoni, his Wayfarer Studios and more, alleging sexual harassment and a retaliatory smear campaign, which he denies. Baldoni countersued Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds and more, accusing them of defamation and extortion. Her lawyers called his lawsuit meritless. As they were kept separate during the film's press tour, both Lively and Baldoni answered questions about intimacy coordinators. Baldoni told Harper's Bazaar India that the team knew from the very beginning that there was no way we could do this movie without intimacy coordinators and stunt coordinators. It was so important to have them on set, not just so that we could all feel safe, but because they were also incredible collaborators with wonderful ideas that really elevated the film, said Baldoni at the time. Lively, meanwhile, told Digital Spy it was critical to have an intimacy coordinator's involvement on set. "You coordinate stunts, you coordinate dancing. It is choreography," she said at the time. "So to be able to say this is what happens here and here in a stunt, and this is what happens here and here in a dance, but now you guys just go put your bodies together and your mouths and whatever, and action and cut, that's ridiculous." I think that being choreographed is critical for everyone's safety.